Well, this is it. Welcome back to season 3 of Talks with Dorks, your Go To Geek podcast. And one thing we promised when we ended season 2 is that season 3 was going to be bigger and better. And I promise you that we are starting with a bang, because I've got a guest that I, took a shot with when I asked him if he would come on the podcast, and it worked out. It literally happened about a week ago, and he's here. You'll know him from X on the Beach, maybe Celebrity Big Brother, but if they're not the ones you know him from, you know him from Geordie Shore. Ricci Guarnaccio, welcome to Talk with Dogs. Did I nail that surname, by the way?
You did indeed, mate, yeah. Thanks,
I've been practicing.
Looking forward to this.
Guess how I made sure and what video I found to make sure I got your surname right?
Go on then.
The one where the one where you are pronouncing it.
Yeah.
Where you do the pronunciation. I was just
Yeah.
just wanted to double check that I'm pronouncing it right, so I don't have to ask you. And I found you saying it. I was like, yes, they're coming from the horse's mouth.
Yeah, I was living in Australia at the time then, and one of the I was doing a magazine thing or something. They said, "Oh, can we get Ricky to pronounce his name properly because no one has a clue how to say it." So my manager was like, "Look, just put it out online." So yeah, I put it out online.
It's Italian, right? Your surname?
Yeah, Sicilian.
Yeah. Yeah, Sicilian. That's it. Yeah. So obviously you can see that it is going to be half of certain people to
I used to get guacamole growing up. I used to get all sorts, bro. I used to get all sorts, honestly. And I fair play to people because everyone's always trying to give it a go, but it's the pronunciation of it. My dad gets proper wound up, being 5'4", little crazy little Italian, but I mean it doesn't bother me too much. It's quite difficult to say, but yeah, well done there anyway.
And to be fair, being in the limelight, you've got to get used to the fact that people are just going to get it wrong, because you're going to hear many of people doing what you do. So 13 years you've been in the industry, and obviously, again, we've just gone through some of it. Celebrity Big Brother, X on the Beach. Obviously, people know you from Geordie Shore, which is currently on the telly in season 24. And if I'm right, this is it, isn't it? The final.
Series 25.
Oh, they're going to be doing 25. I read that it was...
Is it series 24, is it? Mate, you might know better than me.
Oh, I hope so. I've been doing my bit of research.
Not many of these, man. They all kind of just blur into one. But yeah, mate, I don't think it's the last one. I think it's going to be going for a little while longer. It's crunching numbers. But yeah, it's crazy that we've been going for this long, and it's fair play for all of us and for the viewers for, watching us and being entertained by us, and, for everyone, still loving the show, really. We've had our moments. I mean, I'm surprised it's still going because we've all left at different stages, especially all the OGs, and, I was pretty much there from the beginning. But, there was 8 of us back in the day, but now the cast is huge. And it was more like you had me and Vicky set up, you had Charlotte and Gaz, then you had Jay and Rebecca, then James and Holly. So it was kind of like we all had our own mini relationships going on within the house. Now it's a completely different ball game. Do you know what I mean?
I saw that when I was looking at the clips. I was going through and I was like, wow, this cast is different. And I'm like,
huge.
Sure, half of them don't even sound like they're from your area either. Some of them I was like, they don't have the accent. How they wing this? Mm-hmm. But it's like you say, it's grown so big, and there's so many of you now that shows that it's still relevant.
Yeah.
Like what you're saying just before we press record. Obviously, I'm not going to sit here and lie and say I'm the biggest fan of Geordie Shore, because as you'll see from my background, my kind of reality TV is the opposite.
Is that a picture of me up there, right? Is it?
What, badass?
Yeah, isn't that a picture of me?
It will be. I'm going to screenshot a picture of this afterwards. I'm going to get a picture of me and you up on here. Because then ones we've got when we worked together at Popwell, the UV light did me and you no favours. Like, we are illuminous in them pictures.
Yeah.
So we need another chance to DJ together and better pictures.
100%.
Yeah. Absolutely. Obviously, again, let's touch on that. That's how this all came about. We met, obviously, officially, at Popworld in 2023, Popworld Southend. Which I still think is one of the funniest things, when I was taking the pictures and videos and you handed me your phone. You went, follow yourself. And I was like, oh, no, it's going to come up follow and not follow back. I was like, uh-oh, awkward. But obviously we got the awkwardness out of the way. But obviously I said to you then, and I'll remind you, we actually met in 2013. I was working for Thompson and First Choice as a holiday rep. 2013, Iron Napa. Do you remember being there in 2013? Do you remember much about that? And do you remember, I believe an example concert? If it was an example, it would have been LMFAO.
That was one of the that season, because it is a season for me, because I came over to do a PA and ended up making friends with the lad who booked me doing the PA, Jamie and Karina. So I ended up going over there doing the PA, and then I met this girl over there as well. So then I was single at the time. So I had loads of PAs back in the UK. So I phoned my manager up and I said, I'm not coming back. And he's like, no, mate, you need to come back. You've got loads of work on. So I was like, well, can we not just like cancel them? I was like, I don't want to leave. So anyway, I stayed for another night when I shouldn't have. And then I flew back to the UK. I think I did 2 or 3 PAs. And I think I cancelled the rest of them. And I moved back up and moved back out and did the full season. And to be honest with you, it was one of the best times I've ever had in my whole entire life. It was insane. Yeah, crazy, just 2.5 months of being out there and just partying. And
it's different when you've been on holiday. Obviously, I did repping pretty much for 10 years. I did like 7 or 8 years with TUI. Then I run a club in Malia and then run a tattoo studio for my final year. But like, it's different to go on. It's all good going on holiday, but when you're there for a season and you're experiencing that life, and you don't realise how, like, yes, we can back home drink every single night and party, but when you're doing it there, it's a different kettle of fish.
Mate, it's insane. I mean, the experiences that you get with all your friends being out there, like, you know, all the lads, you know, it's even all the workers and being out there as well. It's an experience that you've got to go through when you're younger, when you're in your 18. You know, I mean, I remember my first lads' holiday when I went away 15-year-old. You know, when you're young, you've got to be going to these places like Iron Apple and Malia, you know, Magaluf, experience them all, going away with your friends, getting pissed, waking up and sitting in your bed, all that kind of stuff. Them sort of experiences, you know, when you're in your teens or in your early 20s, that's what making memories is all about, you know, with your girlfriends, with all the lads, and being over there and getting pissed and, you know, and just enjoying yourselves really. But it was quite a crazy summer. Absolutely loved it, to be honest with you. I made a lot of friends. Obviously met you over there.
Yeah.
And it was,
So I'll try and remind you. Like I said, I believe it was an example concert. Do you remember the beach party?
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, yeah.
And it was
on the top.
upstairs. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we were up there. I
Do
was
you
up there.
remember when? Who was it on the mic? Who was it on the mic? It was one of the lads. He was Ricky from Geordie Shore, and literally the whole crowd.
Yeah,
was like,
literally.
Who are you? Who are you? Who are you? Mate, it was class.
I think I've got a video of that somewhere.
No way, class.
I'm gonna have to. It's like it'll be on an old hard drive that I've got off my old for me because it is 12 years ago now. But
Yeah.
that's scary, isn't it? You think about 12 years. So I'm sure I've got a video of that because they were making a fuss. And I'll get a video because we were up there drinking with you, and
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I blacked out throughout it. And I'll probably say that's your fault. I'm assuming if I remember. But me and my ex were up there with you, and then we got like absolutely smashed out of our heads.
Yeah.
But now I remember that. Who are you? And you were just like soaking it up.
I love it, bro. Mate, it doesn't bother me. You know, everyone's having fun. It was, mate, that time, that event was really, really good. But I mean, there's the whole entire season. I didn't want to come home. I really didn't want to come home. And I lost quite a bit of money as well. We cancelled a lot of PAs over the summer for doing that, but it is what it is.
Mate, you had fun. That's what you say. I realistically should have done what you did. I always thought I could be on the telly, be in some sort of way like that. But instead, I found the repping first and went, I'll do that later. And went up and disappeared for 10 years. Then I got too old for it all. Like, all right, I should have done what you did. Got on the telly first, then went abroad. Maybe made some more money. But so another memory I have, and this was always makes me laugh, because there was one of my team. I was the team leader for TUI and Thompson and First Choice out there for their youth brand 20s, and one of my team, Darren, I'm going to send him this episode to say to him, look, do you remember this story? Because he was so embarrassed. Obviously, after that night we'd met you, we were out on a bar crawl. We finished our bar crawl, we were walking down, and outside Starski's, there was you, chatting to some people. And I said to the guys, oh, look, there's Ricky. I told you he was out here from Geordie Shore. And they were like, do you think he will have a picture? I went, me being me, like, look, I've met him once. I'll go and check it's okay. And I went to the guys, I went over and, hi, Ricky, like, remember me from the thing? You probably didn't. It was like, yeah, I remember. And I was like, my team would love a picture with you. And I'm going to send you the picture now, so it's over.
Yeah.
I guess it come to your phone. So the guys had a picture, and Darren, he always remembers this. He says, I don't know why, but he turned to you and he went, oh, Ricky, it's lovely to meet you. You're Thompson and First Choice favourite. And there was just this really awkward silence of like, What was the point of you saying Thompson and first? He's like, I didn't know what else to say, and it just came out. And when I was looking for the picture, that's the quote as well. I bet that made Ricky's summer. Yeah, I've sent it to your phone.
Let's have a look. Wow, we're rolling back some years there.
Yeah, right.
Long. So was he the one on the left, or was he the one on the right?
The one on the left, yeah, the tall guy.
Right, okay.
And he'll hate me for saying this. He did get given the nickname Dippy Darren throughout the first half of the season. But he hated it, but he proved that when he said that. It was like I said, it was just so funny. It was just this really awkward silence of why did you say your Thompson and First Choice is favourite?
Yeah.
There's no part of it, and you kind of went, right, see you later.
People get a little bit, nervous, but in the heat of the moment as well, where it's kind of like you want to make conversation with someone. I think it's one of them where it's kind of like, what do I say? What do I do? How do I act?
Yeah.
Am I going to say the right thing? Am I going to do the right thing? I don't want to look like a dick, but
I'm not going to lie. I mean, technically we've known each other for 2 years. I was like, just when you text saying I'm going to be 10 minutes, I got really nervous because it's like, right, this is not being funny. This is quite big for our little podcast that we've got going here. And so it was like, right, am I going to mess this up? Am I going to really is he going to be like, fucking, oh, fuck. Like, why have I agreed to this? This is an idiot. But you agreed to it. I took a shot and you agreed to it and you are here now. So obviously this is a very geeky podcast. We are here generally talking about superheroes, wrestling, gaming, all that kind of stuff. And
this is what I'm here for. This is what I'm here for.
Yeah, you said that, no one's ever interviewed about it. You all get the same stuff when you're interviewed. And we talked about the fact that you're on Geordie Shore. So obviously you're DJing now as well. And you're making music, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, going back to the thing about talking about interviews and stuff, obviously we've known each other for a little while, and it's coming on and doing something different like this, and speaking with yourself, who I've known for a while. It's fun for me, mate. I kind of knock back a lot of podcasts and a lot of interviews just for the sake of they get a little bit repetitive, that kind of stuff. So when you ask me to come on and you say it's a little bit different, 100%, hallelujah.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? But what did you just bring up there as well? So
obviously you're making music now. Music as well.
So I got into music while I was living in Australia, and I did about 79 PAs in Australia. I did a movie, Universal Pictures movie. I did a show for MTV over there as well, and basically, I was worked at the ground in a year, made an absolute fortune in a year. But I said to my manager, I said, look, I can't continue working and doing this sort of workload of doing PAs, and traveling all the way around Australia because it's a big fucking place, mate. People don't understand how big it is. When you're going yo-yoing from side to side of the countries and you're doing all these late nights and you're eating shit and then I've got 4 months of acting coach and doing this movie. People don't see behind the scenes. So my manager was like, "You've always had a passion for music. Like, why don't you go back to the UK for a year, and learn how to do it properly? You've made a fortune. Go back over there." And then, do it properly. So I was like, Joyce, that's a really fucking good idea. I'm going to take a year or two out and then go back, learn properly, because I want to do it properly. If anything I'd put my name to, I want to do it properly. Like the movie as well. I didn't have to have an acting coach, but I paid for, I got paid for my own acting coach for doing it with it being such a big movie. So I came back to the UK and a year turned into 2 years, 2 years turned into 3 years. And yourself, DJing isn't just a walk in the park of just being like, right, sweet. If I'm going to do this properly, I can't just, press play,
as much as people think that, it's not about pressing play, is it?
It's not, mate, but there's been a lot of people from my walk of life in the reality TV world that's, stood behind a set of decks and press play, put a pair of headphones on, put the hands in the air, get on the mic and look like the DJing. That's never what I wanted to do, and never something that I wanted to do in terms of, I've got a passion for it, I've got a love for it. So in terms of the DJing side, I spent 3 years of teaching myself in my basement, going, just playing myself, putting little videos up as well of people, ridiculing us, saying, "Oh, you're crap." But I think that helped us go through the motions of, you've got to start somewhere. And as you go on, then you get yourself into a bar and you get yourself into a club. And then naturally with that progressing, you start, okay, sweet, well, I want to start learning how to produce music and release music. So I think the two come together for me, really. But as I started, releasing music, I was going to go back to Australia, and then obviously COVID hit, and it is what it is. But man, it couldn't have been a better move. I'm not talking about financially, but in terms of me long-term longevity, I think people from our walks of life as well think they can get all these large sums of money in reality TV world, and they'll do one show a year or one show every few years, and there's huge gaps of where you're not doing anything. But there's this label on, because you're famous, you can't do a normal job, or you're famous, that people might look at you a little bit different and be like, well, they're doing a normal job, not a celebrity job. And this is why I've lost, not lost friends, but in terms of friends not making it in the industry because they've not wanted to put the effort in of, going to get back to get a normal job and still do the reality TV world, where it's kind of like people, it's not a real what we do, mate. It's not a normal kind of living. But in terms of the DJ and stuff, I mean, obviously I'm doing the Stonegate stuff with you, and it's been an absolute pleasure, and it's the best job I've ever had, mate, to be honest with you. I'm going around with a camera crew, and they're releasing music, and I mean, everyone started asking for my music and that kind of stuff, and it works perfectly. So I'm loving life.
And that's it, isn't it? Like, obviously, DJ for me, like, producing and making music isn't what I wanted to do. Like, it was playing music because I like, for me, it probably the same as you as well. One of my favourite things, and something I think I'm good at, is entertaining people. And I will always say I'm not the greatest DJ in the world, but I'm a good entertainer. I can put on a show, and it's, to me, instead of going into music producing, it was radio or podcasting, because I know I can talk better than I can make music. I could probably, throw a mashup together if I really tried, but it's not where my passion lies. My passion lies in giving people the entertainment, playing other people's music, or talking about other people's content, their films, their stuff, because I like talking a lot. And this is where, obviously, when we said let's get you on, let's dive into a side of Ricky that the general public probably won't know, because they see, like you said, when you go to interviews, they always want to know the same things. They always want to know about the Geordie Shore side of it, like your relationships and stuff like that. But
exactly.
I could easily dive into all of that, but I don't. My passion lies in, I want to know, if I said to you, who is your Batman, you could tell me who your Batman is, and hopefully it won't upset me and who you choose.
Yeah.
So who's your Batman? I'd be intrigued because, like I said, we discovered this, and I won't have to remind people how old we are, but we are same age difference of 4 months. You're 4 months younger than me.
Yeah.
So we grew up through the same Batman eras.
Yeah. So talking about Batman as well, my cousin Mark, when I was a kid, I've got a lot to thank him for, because Batman, obviously was my superhero, favourite when I was a kid. So him, and watching the cartoons when I was younger than that as well. Do you know what I mean? It was playing on Championship Manager. It was playing on GoldenEye till daft o'clock in the morning. And Batman, and it was kind of. I've got a lot of things to thank him for, really, because he got me into loving Batman and watching all the cartoons and that kind of stuff, and the films as well. Growing up, it was kind of, mate. It was did you have them sort of people growing up in that as well, where you had sort of like?
I think I was that person, and as well, like I.
So you got yourself into them, really? Did you?
Yeah. So I always look at this. I when I was about 9 or 10, obviously I was massive into Power Rangers, Batman, Superman. Like, it always goes for me. Superman is my number one. Batman is so close, like they're almost in each other. That's how close it is, and that's probably a bit graphic. But
do you know when they did this Batman and Superman film? Man, do you know when you've got like you've a sorriness for Batman because he's kind of like the underdog, where where obviously Superman is obviously like superhuman powers. Do you know what I mean? So when it came to the film, I was thinking, don't hurt him, don't hurt him.
Yeah, true, but then obviously if you know your comics, that even though they are unevenly matched, Superman is a god.
Yeah.
That has but Batman, if you know your comic stories, Batman is not stupid. He's got the Justice League of America. There's Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, the Flash, and all that. But Batman is the smartest. He's a detective for a reason. He has backup plans if anything ever goes wrong. He has a way to. If Superman goes rogue, and if he goes rogue, we're in trouble.
Yeah.
He has a way of combating that. Wonder Woman, he knows their weaknesses, and he will use that against them. And that's why in that movie, yes, you're thinking, hang on, he's going to get his back whooped, but he comes in with a kryptonite gun and goes, bang, there you go.
Mate, Catwoman, or what was she called?
Michelle Pfeiffer.
Michelle Pfeiffer.
Oh, mate.
Yeah, wow. Kill me and take me to heaven for her, bro. Wow, unbelievable.
So that's Michael Keaton's Batman. He is my Batman. That I'll always say he's my Batman because he's the first Batman I knew of. Even
Yeah.
though there was the cheesy, campy '66 Batman, there was Michael Keaton's movie came
Yeah.
out in 1989 when we were just 3 years old.
Yeah.
That was my Batman. Michael Keaton as Batman, Jack Nicholson as the Joker, and then you move on to the next one. You had Danny DeVito as the Penguin, who was scary as fuck.
It's so scary.
Yeah, the green goo that come out of his mouth when he's dying, like.
Makes you think they've done the Jokers really well as well. Do you know, even Jim Curry, when he, I feel like they've all had the sort of like, bad guy roles where it's kind of like, I think they've played it really, really well, mate, over the years.
Well, a lot of people, like, if you go by the internet, when it comes to Batman Forever, which was Val Kilmer, and Batman and Robin, which was George Clooney, they'll say, oh, it was terrible. But my argument is, when Batman and Robin come out, yes, it was cheesy with Arnold Schwarzenegger as Mr. Freeze. Yes, it was very corny, cheesy lines, but it was 1997.
Yeah.
I was 11 years old. I was all for the cheesy, corny music.
Yeah.
I was happy with it, and I'm not going to lie, I've said it more than once. In Batman and Robin, they introduced Alicia Silverstone as Batgirl, and if you remember her in that Batgirl outfit, listen, that's all I needed to say. I was an 11-year-old boy that was in love with all the standard 90s girls. Jet from Gladiators, Alicia Silverstone, Kimberly from the Power Rangers, and Buffy the Vampire Slayer. So, listen.
Mate, some icons there though, isn't there? Some beautiful women, some absolute. I mean, Pamela Anderson as well, bro. Do you know what I mean? I'm obviously not in the thingy, but in that sort of era of ridiculously goddess women, as there were worldies, absolute stunners. But I think when you've got like solid tens when you're playing them out, as doesn't matter how they can act, doesn't matter what they do, what they say, just have them in there.
They could be in terrible TV shows, but this is a massive difference between the internet world from like mid 2000s to now. Is they've got too many choices of who they like. But if us 90s kids that lived through that, if I sat here and told you some of the girls I had a crush on, you'd agree with me, right? So again, we've said Kimberly from the Power Rangers. Who didn't want the pink Power Ranger?
Yeah.
There was Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Come on,
yeah.
Right? Here's another one. Boy Meets World. Do you remember Boy Meets World?
Yeah.
Topanga.
Yeah.
But who didn't like? We all wanted to. We all had every '90s kid. We could have never met, but we could all tell you the exact same women we were in love with.
Exactly.
Because we had these choices, and they were not as many shows and films you get now. But we were all agreed on one thing: they're the ones that we're going to have little posters of on our wall.
100%.
And Britney Spears come along, and I got another obsession.
Oh.
She started in that schoolgirl uniform.
Jesus Christ. I remember having the CD of that, and it came with a picture of it in the CD, and I thought, wow.
Posters in CDs, yeah. I used to have that. I used to have that poster, and I might have had Peter Andre's Mysterious Girl poster as well from a CD, but I can't help it. I like it. Like Joe. Listen, I can't admit it. I'll always say this. My biggest concert as a kid was a Peter Andre concert. People might find him cheesy, like are you like Peter? Yes, I love Peter Andre, and I wish I had them abs when I was growing up.
But I saw him at the Pop World Liverpool last year when I was filming. Last year or the year before, it was one of the two anyway. When they did the Pop World Live, and I used to be with the same management as him, so we've known, we've met a few times over the years. But mate, he's such a lovely bloke. Such a lovely bloke. I said, you still got the looks. He was like, oh really? But he's such a look, mate. Such a a warm, down to earth person, mate. But back in the day, he was shredded. Everyone wanted a 6-pack like him, and there
was no 6-pack like that. Like when that, I still use that music video when I'm DJing if that. But when he's in that water and you just look at his abs, you're like, how is that? That's better than Batman's abs. That's on a rubber suit. Like how?
Yeah.
How? And that guy, and then them curtains as well was like
sick.
I can't even. My hairline won't even let me think about.
When we were back at school though, at our age, about 11 to 13, they were like curtains were in. You obviously had a thingy from Backstreet Boys.
Nick Carter.
So Nick Carter had them. Obviously Peter Andre had them, mate. They were like the in things. I think I tried to go on mine, but my hair was really curly, mate. So it was
Then the boy from my hometown came along and joined Five, old Scott Robinson.
Oh yeah, crap.
Them spikes,
Yeah.
hair, and it was like, oh, if I could do that. But nobody had the time to sit there because they were like just pure. You could tell that was a like 2-hour hair job.
Talking about Five, I used to be a hairdresser when I was about 16, 17. I moved to my parents bought me an apartment in London, and I left school and I went to do hairdressing down at the main place in London. And I was washing someone's hair, and then in through the door, it was in the Davy Street, the main salon in London with Tony and Guy. Abs walked in with his girlfriend. I'll never ever forget it, mate. I must have been 17 at the time, and I thought, wow. He walked in with just dungarees on. It was red hot summer with these Timberlands on, like nothing underneath them as well. Strutted in. I thought, how cool is he? And then he had this unbelievable bird where she was wearing like cowboy boots, little short denim skirt, little cowboy red checkered shirt on, and that as well, mate, with a cowboy hat. And I thought, you two look insane. I'll never ever forget that moment though, seeing him. It was class.
Again, like just starstruck, isn't it? Like I said, knowing Scott from like Five was my favourite boy band. I liked a lot of boy bands.
Unbelievable.
I liked some NSYNC, Backstreet Boys. I like, but Five were cool because they were the bad boys of it, weren't they? And like they had a little rap, and I can rap every single one. Five is probably the most sung song I do on karaoke. Five. If you're getting down, that's my jam. But like they were just cool. They had them black leather jackets in some of the videos. Like I said, Scott had his spikes, and the fact that he was from Basildon, obviously growing up, it was like, yeah, I grew up with Scott. Of course he was. From Basildon, of course we know each other.
Name dropping.
Yeah, name dropping left, right, and centre. But it's because he was from your hometown, and it was cool. And there was like you knew you weren't going to see him, but you'd like walk through the town. Like, what if we see Scott from Five?
Yeah.
This is cool, really cool. But they say the 90s and growing up, we had. I feel like one of the guys on the podcast, Tony, his thing is the 90s, and like I always say to him, you're just stuck there, and I get it because I lived through it. The 90s was different because everything was more colourful, I think, like, and everything we got, like every TV, every movie, like nowadays they'll do these big trailers and they're cool, but every trailer from a movie was over exaggerated. You know the ones, didn't you? The ones were like, in a world.
Yeah.
We're Superman. Like them, that voice would come and you were like, right, no matter, this video's
good. That's good though, right?
What, that they've got rid of that?
No, like, do you know when we say when people are stuck in an era and they're like, oh, they never want things to change. But if you look, mate, the 70s, you know, is the 70s for a reason. You've got your 80s, you've got your 90s, you know. And I feel like even like the culture or the way people dress, you know, everything spins back around at some point. But I feel like everything's got its place in that as well. We can't just sit in one era, you know. And I mean, we grew up, I think, in a cool as fuck time, mate. When we had the SNES, we had the PlayStation. Like, I spent half my life on John Lone with rugby on the PlayStation. I played Championship Manager on, Football Manager, like what it is now. It used to be called Championship Manager. Like, and obviously GoldenEye, mate. I mean, we were really, really lucky to live through that era of, you know, Pierce Brosnan doing GoldenEye, all that kind of stuff, mate. Fucking unbelievable.
When it comes to gaming, you think gaming, it is amazing that you're sitting where you are, up north, I'm down on the south coast, we can game together. We come off here, we could go and game for an hour like that. It's great. But there's nothing like when you go around your mate's house and sit there, get your the SNES out. You'd have, like, you might have one of them things where you had to add an adapter to have 4 controllers to play Super Mario Kart or something. But like, it was in a room together, and it's that one kid that hates losing and slams a controller, and he goes home and he tells his mum he's never going to talk to you again because he lost in Mario Kart. Now you can rage quit and you can block someone.
I just feel like the games back then, I mean, you had Civilization, you know, you had Command and Conquer, Red Alert, you know, you had all these fucking amazing games, mate. I just feel like we lived through such a time of, and I know it's different now, obviously you've got all the games, and I don't play on, you know, on consoles anymore, and, you know, sit on PCs and all the hours. I used to sit up till 2, 3, 4, 5 in the morning, you know, playing Championship Manager and season after season. But, you know, I just feel like I loved my youth, you know, and I'm glad I went through all that, and I had a really good childhood. That I played rugby with a lot of my friends, and had a lot of team sports with football and cricket and squash and all that kind of stuff. And I feel like when you look at the generation now, it's completely changed, you know, in terms of nightlife, in terms of how they are. I mean, you don't really see kids kicking a ball out on the street anymore that we used to do. I used to be getting dragged in, mate, when it was pissing down with rain. My parents were
How
like,
did you
where is
know
he?
what time you? How did you know what time you had to go in?
Not a fucking clue. And I never used to come in when they used to be like,
Street
when it's
lamps.
getting dark. I used to come in an hour past it was dark, and my mum would be like, I'd be up the field playing with kids that were like 17, 18-year-old when I was, 12, 13-year-old. I'd be getting stuck in goal, not having a clue who any of these lads are, but I'd be getting stuck in goal just so I can play with all the kids. But I
Yeah.
just feel like, over where I used to live, I mean, there might be sports centre there, they used to have a field with football and stuff. And I just feel like, every night after school, I'd be kicking the ball by myself. I'd be going out and playing. I'd never be in the house unless I'm sitting on a console, playing games till daft o'clock. I just think it's a completely different world. And obviously times change over a period of time and stuff. But I mean, it's I think we were very, very lucky to live through the time that we did.
I think, the internet and all, again, we wouldn't be doing this if the internet wasn't a thing.
No.
But the internet is great, but it spoiled everybody. Like now, like as a DJ, music-wise, I don't feel like there's a lot of new.
How did you get into DJing?
How? So it started with the repping. I was doing little bits. Like I was a rep, but there were certain events where like we did a silent disco instead of paying.
You talk about the repping, right? I actually fucking remember now. I can't remember what hotel it was that me and you were speaking in. I'm sure we were speaking in a hotel somewhere.
Potentially, it might have been River Reggae, like down there late one night.
It might be. I think the lads were trying to sell tickets, and I think they were getting kicked out. And I'm sure you were in there with
The Senator Hotel, which was my hotel.
Maybe.
That was my hotel, Senator, and I think because you were there. If I remember, you're right. Maybe I think I had to come out and go, look, I'm sorry, but
I think the lads were getting kicked out.
they're not allowed to sell tickets in the hotel. You can stand outside. Oh, yeah, them ticket sellers. Them ticket sellers, Jesus, mate. But my hotel, I should be scary, but the guy who run the bar in my hotel was something to do with like the Cypriot mafia and like high up.
Yeah,
because I remember the chief of police used to come in and he used to tell the chief of police what to do. They sit there, and go, "Hey, bah, bah," and he'd go like the chief of police. But if he caught ticket sellers in the hotel, he weren't afraid to pepper spray them.
Yeah.
He'd go straight in with the pepper. You're not meant to be in my hotel. Straight like that. And then I'd get the bollocking. Why'd you let him do it? I didn't. You think I've got a choice? It's to do with the mafia. I'm not Bat Ryan from Basildon's going to be able to tell. I'm not going to say his name. The Greek guy. He might find me. I'm not going to tell the Greek guy who's involved with the mafia that you can't be going pepper spray them. Like, no, that's not okay. You do as you're told, mate. This is your country. You live how you want to, and them guys are going to have to deal with it. Yeah. Jesus, that is some memories. But yeah, DJing for me came from like repping. I never thought I could earn actual money from it because I'd worked with a lot of DJs who were a million times better than me. But I would like I said, if we did a silent disco and they needed 2 DJs, they'd bring me in so they didn't have to pay for another DJ. And then I came home and I'd do the odd pub here and there. And then in 2017, I'd done a couple of gigs for Stonegate when I was working behind the bar. Went back to run a tattoo studio. My friend said to me, when you come back, I'm going to get you a gig in a proper Stonegate venue. And he did that. And I got one, it stemmed into 2, 3, 4. And then it became a full-time job. And then, as we said...
Great company to work for, aren't they?
They are. I mean, I don't work for them as much as I used to. I work in venues I work for now a lot more independent. But
so I'm taking all your gigs, that's why.
yeah, exactly. They keep bringing in these celebrities to take my Potwell gigs. Start bringing their TV camera crews down.
Do you know it's all right? When you're doing all these, I mean, just not even the Stonegate ones, because I do a lot of them a year with the camera crew, which obviously doing Potwell TV. But when I do the normal gigs of going to things, it's nice hearing people being like, "Oh, mate, I didn't realise you're actually a really good fucking DJ." And do you know what it is? When you've put in so much time and you've put so much effort in behind the scenes that you've done the groundwork, and you can try a few things out. Like, I'm one of them type of people that I'll try shit on a night. Whether my mixing might be a little bit off or shit, I don't give a toss. On the night, I want to put a show on and I want to make, instead of just standing there and, being like, sweet, well, yeah, I can mix that song into that song. No, I'm playing around and I'm having fun with it as well. I want the crowd to try and enjoy it as much as possible as well. I remember doing this gig I did in Wakefield, and I think it was Halloween. And I had a warm-up DJ on before us, and I was only supposed to be there for an hour. And I ended up staying DJing for about 5 or 6 hours. And the lad was saying, "Mate, you're fucking insane." I'm like, "No, I appreciate it." I was showing him a few different things that you can do on the decks, and he was like, I said, "Jump on, have a play around." But I think, that's what it's you've just got to encourage people. I think DJs can be a little bit more like, this is my territory, you know, and this is why I'm a resident now, this is why I DJ. And I thought, you know what it is? It's nice when you get people like that, because I've been at one a few gigs and that as well, where it's kind of like a few people have joined before us and, you know, they don't want to talk to you, don't want to speak to you, and it's kind of like, oh, well, they're getting the famous person in who can come and DJ. Yeah, but I put a hell of a lot of time and effort into coming, you know, doing what I'm doing. You know, I'm not just, you know, making all this up. You know, I can actually DJ and I've got a passion, I've got a love for it like anyone else does.
And like you said, like there are, you know, celebrities out there that DJ that don't actually do anything. I always remember, and to me, like, it's not a knock against him, because fair play to him. I always remember being in Zante and they brought Danny Dyer out to do a DJ set. And it's the funniest thing. He turned, this was, I mean, 2010, 11, so he was still quite young, Danny Dyer-ish, Football Factory era, Danny Dyer. Yeah, proper geezer, wasn't he? Fucking, are you getting lemon? He turns up and, like, he comes up there, he's clearly had a few before he's come out.
Yeah.
You know, he's clearly well on his way, but he's standing there, and it's the funniest thing, because you can see he's got his hands touching knobs that ain't worried, but his hands are coming through and doing the like, none of the crowd could see it, but we're up on the balcony because we're the reps of that, looking down. And I'm going, this is brilliant. They paid him so much money. His mates doing it all for him. Literally his hands just going through Danny's hands and going like that, pressing play like that. And Danny, all he did was he pretended to do a knob, pull the microphone down and go, let's fucking have it, and then put the microphone back up. Like, this geezer's got paid about $7,000 to stand there, get drunk, and have a great time. Good luck to him. You know, some of us have to graft.
Do you know what it is as well? I mean, I love it. I love DJing, mate. I'll do it forever and always, to be honest with you. I love producing music. I love sitting there and, you know, looking for snares or looking for hats, or, you know, and working out a bass line and that kind of stuff. I absolutely love everything to do with the making side and the DJing side, you know, putting the show on and playing my music out, mate, to be honest with you. You know, because you road test stuff and things might work, things might not work, and, you know, and the people, you know, it's their reaction to stuff, whether, you know, it's gonna kind of do well. But in terms of, you know, for me personally, DJing, obviously, Joel's came from Geordie Shore, who's absolutely obliterated everything you could ever imagine in terms of, you know, numbers wise and singles and everything, mate, to be honest with you. You know, I mean, I don't know how many awards he's got for the number he's done with, you know, Head and Heart and all this kind of stuff, but
I know
over 1 billion plays and stuff, bro. Do you know what I mean? But I remember when I used to do PAs with Joel, and he's so professional when he comes to DJing. Like, you know, it's kind of, I always remember looking at how hard he's working, and I've tried to take that on board with, you know, how he was with crowds on the mic, with DJing. I've tried to, you know, learn from what he was doing back in the day, but, you know, to sort of implement what I can sort of do. But I'm more of a party person, you know. I'm getting pissed with everyone. I'll be there all night as well, where my manager will be like, you've only supposed to be there an hour, you've been there like 5 hours. But it's, I just love the whole dynamic of it.
It's what I'm saying, if, like, again, like you say, you could easily, you have every right, as, you know, in your position, to get paid to do an hour PA, be there 2 minutes before the PA comes on, even running 5 minutes late, because that's notorious for some people. Do you know what I mean? But do that, get your hour, get out there, get done. I've collected my money. But if you're passionate about it, you care about what you do. And like you say, who says that, you know, all the TV stuff couldn't, I'm not saying it won't for you, I'm pretty sure it won't, but if it all dried up, you probably want to go, well, I can go make a DJ and we'll carry on.
Yeah.
And if you're not someone that's taking it serious and you go, right, well, I'm going to go be a full-time DJ now, I don't know how to DJ yet properly, I can press play, then you're starting from the ground. But if you're taking your time while you've got other things, while you're learning to DJ, you're passionate about it. And I'm sure, I don't know why I whistled, but I'm sure that, you know, when you're potentially like me, when it comes to your sets, do you go, right, well, I know what I'm going to say. I'm going to play, I've done this a million times, I'm going to play the same set every single time because no one cares? Or do you sit there and think, like me, obviously, might be a difference. I play the same places every week, so I'm always in my own head of, what did I play here last week? If the crowd have seen me 2 weeks in a row, on week 3, are they able to guess what I'm about to play? If they can guess what I'm about to play, I need to change it up, because I don't want to be able to look out and see people, because I remember DJs when I was growing up going to cheesy clubs, and I could tell you what they were going to play for every single Saturday because I was there every week. They played the same stuff in the same order.
The majority of them play, you know, vocal, you know, commercial stuff that people can sing along to, that people are going to react to. But I think it depends, mate. Because I mean, the Stonegate premises that we do the Pop World stuff, it's very much a brand thing. So you're pretty much streamlined to a specific genre of what you can kind of go to within reason at a few venues. Because I've been out at the Southampton one where it's more of a club. It was rammed. And when I went there, filmed there, Pop World, I think we brought the numbers for what they took on the evening as well. It was that edit of the show, by the way. I can't wait to put it out this year because it's absolutely bonkers. Like, it's insane. But obviously, when you're doing gigs and you're bouncing around different parts of the country, it's different clubs book you for. And I mean, I'm quite broad in terms of what I can play and how I can play. And man, I love it. Whether it's disco, whether it's house or commercial or whatever tech. It's kind of like I love all the genres and stuff. And my releases have said that as well because my first ever release was a disco one. But mate, do you know what it is? It's just being in a club, and you'll find the same thing as well when you're behind the decks and you see a crowd there and everyone's singing along and enjoying themselves, mate. There's no better job in this world. There's no better job.
Again, it's something like I said. I believe maybe I should have when I was younger, gone down the route of trying to get into more mainstream acting or presenting or stuff like that. I should have done it when I was younger. I regret it because it's something I've always wanted to do. But actually, at the age of 15, I got into wrestling and the acting took a step back. So I believed, even though I was as stick thin as I could be, I believed I was going to be a professional wrestler, and I did it. And
who's your favourite wrestler?
It's Dwayne The Rock, always. He's the reason I got into it. He's the reason I got
into
it. Yeah.
It's quite late on, bro.
Yeah. But that's what I'm saying. I didn't get into wrestling until I grew up in Basildon, and there was a friend I'd made when I was about 7 called Ash. We were into Power Rangers. He disappeared. I then moved to Dagenham.
Yeah.
And I ended up running into this friend I had when I was 7, Ash. He then was showing me WCW and stuff, and I remember I was like, yeah, it's all right. I remember I'd watched Hulk Hogan when I was a tiny kid, but
yeah.
I was into Power Rangers and other stuff. It was like showing me WCW. I see Goldberg, I see Bret Hart, and I remember Bret Hart. Hulk Hogan's now in black, and he's a bad guy. I don't get it. But then one day I went to his house.
Sorry, mate, just cut you off there. Have you watched the Vince McMahon?
Yeah, man.
Sorry, can't remember what you're saying there.
We'll get onto that Vince McMahon documentary. Yeah, so SummerSlam. I turned up to my friend's house and he's like, "Dude, we've got to watch this event. It's SummerSlam. It was on last night. I recorded it because that was something you could do back in the day. Record your videos on cassette. SummerSlam. We're going to watch it." And he put it on, and I saw the very first tables, ladders, and chairs match with the Hardys, Edge and Christian, and the Dudley Boys. And then I saw this guy get interviewed. He had cool glasses. He was walking around. He was raising his eyebrow. And I just instantly, I feel like he sparked something in me that, I always wanted to be like him, this over the top.
Goosebumps when you talk about this, by the way, mate.
Yes, it is. The Rock, it just, when he came on the screen, the volume, like he's always said, and I always live by that, whether I'm DJing, whether I'm radio presenting, podcasting, whether I'm wrestling, it's me that you see, but with the volume up.
Yeah.
It's the over the top character, and he had all these catchphrases. Then he went out and he had this match with Kurt Angle, and if I remember, he loses then. But I was so upset that he'd lost. I was like, well, he's my guy.
Yeah.
And that's it. I became obsessed with The Rock, and obviously I got late to the Stone Cold part of the story, but. Who's your favorite? Oh, come on, who's your favorite wrestler?
I was obsessed, and I mean obsessed with the Ultimate Warrior.
Nice.
Besotted, obsessed. Me and my cousins used to be, I used to be grabbing the things, obviously shaking them, running around. We used to be playing the music. Honestly, mate, childhood for me, I remember going to watch, I think it was in London, me and my dad and my 2 cousins and my uncle went down. Mate, we were, right in the sticks, right at the top out of the way, but I'll never forget it as a kid because I was obsessed with WWF as it was back in the day. Obviously, it's now WWE, but I think any child living throughout them and that as well. I mean, it's interesting hearing Vince McMahon's documentary and that kind of stuff because Hulk Hogan was like the poster boy that made absolutely everything. It's like what you said. He ended up being a bad guy that I didn't think it would kind of work.
But when he went, I don't know if you watched that era, the NWO, it showed you a completely different side of Hulk Hogan.
Yeah,
That NWO for a long time was one of the best things in wrestling, and Hulk Hogan was still the front.
I just feel like that time for me of growing up with Hulk Hogan and the Ultimate Warrior, it reminded me and my best mate that we used to play rugby with, was him captain, it was me vice captain, and I think for me watching the WWE, it reminded me when I was a kid, because it was kind of like, without me and him, our rugby teams, nowhere near as good. You got two players that are like, playing North of England kind of stuff when we're 13-year-old. And it's kind of, I looked at them as a sort of thing as well. You take these two out of the WWE and you've got nothing. I remember obviously watching the Vince McMahon thing, saying they wanted Ultimate Warrior to be like the main sort of person, but he didn't have the right mindset, or it didn't kind of work out where it was kind of, he couldn't carry all that,
He the problem with, I think, with Ultimate Warrior was he believed his own hype too much.
Yeah.
He got pushed into it too quickly. It went to his head, and one of the biggest problems he had, where he was so energetic, if you actually watch his matches, where he comes out running at 100 miles an hour, he's running around, brrr, you watch him a minute into the actual match, he can't breathe.
Yeah.
Because he's done all that energy in the first 2 minutes.
Yeah, gas.
Like, he's blown himself out. He's run to the ring, and you can see it. It's obvious. Like, it's great, and that's
great for fast twitch five, isn't it? But not.
Yeah, literally. You're like, all right, mate. Do you want to chill out? Like, you get it. But did you see that obviously he passed away a few years back. It was the most bittersweet thing that he'd been estranged. They'd even done that documentary, The Self-Destruction of the Ultimate Warrior, where they basically slagged him off quite a lot. But they finally brought him back, introduced him to the Hall of Fame, and he came in on Monday Night Raw after WrestleMania in the mask, did this big, powerful speech, even mentioning when a warrior takes his last breath, he died a day later. It's like, whoa, wow. Mate, like, literally, like 12 hours after he made that speech, he died. And it was like gutting for people that, like, we grew up, we didn't know the backstage side of it growing up. We just saw this cool character that came running out 100 miles an hour. We wouldn't have noticed that he couldn't breathe 2 minutes into the match because we were just excited for this energy. But like I say, a lot of it was probably his own fault.
Yeah.
What happened, what went down with him, was that he didn't deal with things in the right way.
No.
Even Hulk Hogan didn't, but Hulk Hogan couldn't do no wrong.
Yeah. I think as well, mate, when you're thrust into limelight, and to try and revert this back to, what I've seen over the years, obviously a few people have passed away from reality TV and that kind of stuff and that as well.
Yeah.
The mental pressure that you've got on of dealing with that people don't see as well, bro. So when I first jumped on the show season 2, we used to get, the numbers was insane. It was crazy, and our Twitters were going off. Instagram, I think, was just starting off. I don't think it had quite, but it was mainly Twitter. And then when Instagram started and that as well, I think it was kind of late towards when I was just leaving. But the mental pressure that you've got to deal with being on these reality TV shows, whether it's positive stuff or hate stuff, the way you look, the way you act, the way you talk, everything. People have got an opinion on absolutely everything. And I feel like, they're far bigger megastars than we could ever imagine. Especially getting stopped. We used to get stopped, every single turn in every single street. Going to Australia, there used to be kids waiting at the airport. Going to the island, kids waiting at the airport. And it's kind of like you've constantly got this. You feel like you're walking on water a lot of the time, and you're not living in the real world. Do you know what I mean? So I can only imagine. I can't even imagine what their lives would be like. Whether whether these global superstars, and it's they've got to look a certain way, and train a certain way, and then they're getting all these crazy, fans being obsessed with them. I just think it's people don't understand. There's a lot of mental pressure to the game that being a public guy.
And that is, again, like, just for certain things, I'm nowhere in that, but like, just from TikTok, where I've had a couple of videos go viral on TikTok, the comments and the hate, and I love entertaining a troll sometimes. People go, why are you wasting time? Like, I think it's hilarious, because like, Barry loves dogs, has got 2 followers over him, both of them are his own profiles, he wants to give me a bit of shit, okay, I'll have a bit of fun. But then you see, like, then the comments that people are saying, just someone like me who's not relevant, but like people like yourself, or that are in the massive limelight, they're seeing this 24/7. Like you say, you could post a post and you don't just get 10 comments, you're going to get 1,000 comments. And 800 of them could be the loveliest comments in the world. But there's like 100, 10, 5, 1 comment that you could just see that's like, that will play on your mind. Because you're like, obviously, again, you're an entertainer. You want to please everybody. you want everybody to be happy, don't you? Like we all do. That's why we do this kind of thing. We want to keep people smiling, like that smile you just put on there. But that one comment that person thinks, I'm going to go take the piss out of Ricky from Geordie Shore, don't realise that you could be dealing with that for another month, a year, because they've said something that struck a chord in your heart that you may not get over. And it's people, like you say, that you've lost, that stuff like that's really affected.
So if getting affected that easily, I'd say don't ever be anywhere near anything public eye or anything that kind of stuff, because I mean, for me, it doesn't bother me in any way, shape or form. How much hate I get, how much praise I get, it doesn't change what I'm going to be doing day to day or whether I'm going to sleep at night. It doesn't. You know, maybe back in the day when I first started, I was thinking, Jesus Christ, like this is a lot. When I first started, you know, because I was only 25-year-old.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, I've been through the you know, the run of the mill with it all. It's kind of like, I mean, there's been a load of hate this series and there's been a load of positive stuff, and it's kind of like that's making a good TV show. What I've learned to deal with as well over a period of time, if you're not getting talked about, you're doing something fucking wrong, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day as well, I'm getting paid a hell of a lot of money for going in there and putting a show on and entertaining you guys as well. So you can sit there, you know, with your partners in bed, and whether you love me or hate me, you know, one thing I'm sure is going to be doing is entertaining you. So it's
Look at Michael Jackson. I don't know about you, but I am one of the biggest. I will never hear a bad thing said about him, and there are people that say some horrendously bad things about him. Michael Jackson, like the biggest name in the world. Like, come on, let's face it. Like Elvis, yeah, okay. Again, I'm an Elvis fan, but Michael Jackson took that fame to another level.
Oh right, have you seen that kid on Instagram? His dad buys him a little Michael Jackson jacket, and
No.
mate, mate, this kid must be 4, 5, and his dad buys him a Michael Jackson jacket and he puts it on. He knows all the dance stuff. Thrill, mate, it's insane. You've got to look at it on Instagram.
Oh, I'm gonna. I love stuff like that.
Good.
I remember seeing. I don't know if you, but there was years ago on YouTube when YouTube videos, or like everyone would go to YouTube for their comedy video. There was a video of this little girl, little Chinese girl. She's like 2 or 3, watching Thriller, and as it gets to the bit where she dance, she's like, and as it goes into the dance, she goes, and just starts doing the routine at like 2 or 3 years old. It's so good. It's like she's so cute. But again, Michael Jackson. Think of the stuff that we used to hear about Michael Jackson. Them stories about Michael. He lives in this He sleeps in this chamber. Like if you watch some documentaries, it turns out 90% of them rumours came from him.
Yeah.
He used to feed them to the press because he wanted, like you say, no matter what they're talking about me. They call me Wacko Jacko. I don't care because as much as people will slag me off and will hate me, I've still got 95% of the people out there that love me. Mm-hmm. And I can't do no wrong.
I think this is why I've done so much reality TV and that as well, mate, because I mean, the issue that people have when they come on reality TV is they try and act. And because they want to come across as the nice guy and they want to come across as the loved one. It doesn't fucking bother me, mate. I couldn't care less. It really doesn't. As long as it's them checks are going in my bank and they're looking real sweet and tasty, I couldn't give a toss. But I think in this series of Geordie Shore and that as well, you're seeing a lot of people come in with fabricated storylines, to try and make people look bad and try and act in a certain way where it's kind of like, I'm the nice guy, I'm doing this, I'm using sensitive stories to try and make you look bad. And it's kind of like people need to sort of not wake up, but understand there's two sides to every story with what's going on that as well. Obviously you've got Lime that edit it and, that do a really good job, mate. I think this series is... obviously we're number 2 on Paramount at the minute.
I see that on your story. Yeah, that's really good. I mean, I was watching some clips earlier. I see the clip of you and the gecko. But like some of the clips I've seen, it looks to me, I'm not watching the full series, so it looks to me that they're really going with like you and Jay as like this comedy duo. And
that's Jay's the bad guys, mate. That's what they're doing.
yeah. Well, I don't know. Like the videos I'm seeing. I mean, listen, I'm entertained by them. I like them. So fuck everyone else that's trying to make you look like a bat. Fuck them. All right.
So when we're in there, you've got like a larger group of people who sort of are friends. I mean, even though there's 1 or 2 of them that slag people off behind the backs and all that kind of stuff, right? Which I'm not going to get into right now. But it's kind of like
that's not what we're here for.
I think with Jay, I mean, he's my best mate, and outside, with whether it's been Jay's been there for us a lot, mate. So for me, my loyalty lies with him. Whether regardless of anything. And I think this is what a few of the cast members have a fucking issue with, mate, as well, and what they need to sort of watch and learn from that as well. When it comes to loyalty and trust and friendship, you know, I've got no brothers, I've got no sisters, so my friends, you know, and my brothers really, mate, and the way I treat them and I look after them, you know, if they're going through something bad, I'll be there for them. You know, and everything that I've been through bad with my family, you know, and I lost my dog, I lost me mate, you know, George Gilby, who was, you know, three weeks apart. You know, I lost my auntie last year, and, you know, Jay was there for us every single step of the way. But even previous years, you know, of, you know, relationships or hard times with my family that he knows what we're going on about. And, you know, he lost his dad, that was there for him. All these roller coaster of events, we've been there for each other, thick and thin. You know, so when all these arguments are playing out on, you know, and you've got James sitting there being like, why Ricky's getting involved. It's called loyalty, mate. Like, you know, you should maybe try some of it sometime, you know, instead of, you know, talking behind people's backs. You know,
we started beef with one of the cast members.
Yeah.
Come on.
The people that, you know, you're saying you're friends with, you know, the one that you've been slagging off. Yeah, we'll get into the next series anyway, son. But
Oh, right, listen, hang on, step back. Let's go back to the wrestling side of this. I'm putting on a wrestling event in May 31st. I feel like I've got a match setting up here.
I'm too old for that kind of stuff, right? I'm too old.
Ricky, I can teach you the basics of putting on a good match. I've got the belt, right? We'll remove my wrestling name. We'll put you in there. You and Geordie Shore beef going down at my wrestling. Yeah. Fuck it. You two don't even have to. I will wrestle. I will be the wrestler for you. You could be. Do you remember when Donald Trump and Vince McMahon had a fight? And they had the wrestlers. Yeah, we'll do a hair versus hair. I mean, I'm due to shave my head anytime soon. We'll do a hair, but I'll wrestle for you. We'll get someone to wrestle for the other guy, and we'll put on an event. Fuck it.
I've had too much plastic surgery done, mate. To be honest with you.
I haven't. Yeah. I can't afford it.
I've got 70 grand spent on this face, mate, and I still get absolutely ridiculed for it. So it's yeah, it is what it is, though.
Listen, I was about to say, when I get to your age, I hope not like that, but I'm older than you. It shows. I look 10 years older than you.
Don't be skin. I was been getting loads of like carbon faces this year because obviously we were just being on camera. I'm thinking, you know, we're getting a little bit older now. You know what I mean? Trying to keep it down with the youngins, but it's yeah, mate. It's constant struggle. The Stonegate things, mate. They're mental because I mean we are at an age now where it's kind of like, and I didn't feel old when I hit 37. I was like, ooh.
Yeah.
36.
Didn't
even cross my mind ever. But now I'm 30. I'm 39 this year, and I'm like, I don't feel old. By the way, I don't feel old at all. But now the age, I've never had to think about it before. But now, especially being doing gigs, and you've got girls coming left, right, and centre, you know, at all different ages, and I'm like, how old are you? Like, do you know what I mean? It's never been something that I've had to really think about before, though. But
it used to be. You might be like I grew up. My dad was a player. I'm not gonna lie. I'm the result of an affair. Like me and two of my brothers have had a beer together where we all grew up. We all got different mums but same dad. We all grew up being told when you go out, you ask the girl who her dad is or her granddad. Now I'm at the age is like I'm concerned that. You know, not I've got a partner, but a girl talking to me concerns me that her mum, I might have had a thing with her mum growing up. Like that's how fucked things are now. Yeah. It's that we're at an age where their mums could have been like something or even worse. Do you know who your dad is? Because who's your mum? You're not looking for your dad, are you? You weren't told he was some guy called Ryan that liked a bit of wrestling and Superman. That's at the scary age you're at. Like, is that 18-year-olds weren't born when we were 18. That's the fucking reality of it.
Yeah.
I mean, hang on. How long since we were 18? 39 this year, aren't we? So 21 years since we were 18.
Scary, isn't it? And the thing is, I still feel 26, 27-year-old though. Like I do not feel 38-year-old in any way. I definitely don't act like it as well. But it's kind of, I do not feel 38-year-old, bro. Like I feel like just these years are just pressing fast forward now, and it's kind of like where they're going. My 20s were unbelievable, like insane. Where I couldn't have had any more fun through my 20s. Don't get us wrong, I've enjoyed my 30s as well, but I feel like they've just disappeared.
They've flown by. I remember turning 30, and again at the age of 30, or 31, I'd just done my last season. I'd come home and I was in a real bad rut of like what am I doing in my life? I said I was going to be an actor, I was going to be a presenter, I was going to be a wrestler, I was going to do this, I was going to do that. But I'm working minimum wage for Stonegate behind the bar. What am I doing with my life? Like,
Yeah.
I'm 30 now, I've got no career. And I went to the general manager because, long story short, the first gig I got for Stonegate was I was working behind the bar, and they said to us, over Christmas, we're going to have DJs every night for 2 weeks. And I just went to the GM and said, listen, in 2 weeks, is there any chances of like a night that you know is going to be rubbish that I could jump on so you don't have to pay for a experienced DJ? I've done a little bit here and there. He said, I'm going to give you this Wednesday. It's notoriously quiet. End up being the busiest night of their week, and I DJ'd it. So it's sort of like, this guy could potentially do a bit more. Then I did the bank holidays, and then I went back to do one more summer abroad, came back, got the gig that my friend promised me, and in 2018 I set myself 3 goals over 3 years. One was to go back to Zante because I'd not been there since 2011 or 12.
Yeah.
And I missed it. I'd been to Malia but hadn't been to Zante. Was to meet one of the people that played Superman and to go to America finally, because I dreamt of going to America. I wanted to go see all these places I'd seen in movies because
You want to go to LA then, yeah?
yeah. So in 2018 I did all 3.
Good luck.
Instead of doing it over 3 years, I managed to do it. I booked Comic-Con. Ironically, they had, I don't know if did you ever watch Smallville?
No.
So that was the Superman origin story.
Yeah, I
Clark
remember it was, yeah.
I got to meet him. So I got to meet the guy that plays Superman. My mate, randomly, Ross, messaged me in 2018 and said, listen, you don't fancy going to Zante? One of my mates just pulled out. All you've got to do is pay the name change. I was like, well, that's happening. And then my friend Alex was like, oh, I really want to go to America this year. Should we go together? Well, my girl mate's like, she says, I know it might be a bit weird, guy and a girl, but you really want to do America. I want to go back. And I know we could do it. And we went, yep. And we booked LA, Vegas, and then Toronto in Canada. Because I always said, I may only get one opportunity. Yes, I could do New York or Florida, but they're the close ones. I want to do LA. I want to go where the movies are made. I want to go there. And I did it. So I did that in that year. And like I said, for me, 30s, especially, then, and weirdly, the night before I went to America, I met my partner.
Oh,
So I've now got a kid with, and 2 stepkids and a house and all this.
Yeah.
So I was at an age at 31 where I was like, it's over for me. I'm probably going to be single for the rest of my life. I'm not going to have kids. I'm not going to have a career that's successful. And now I am talking to Ricky from Geordie Shore. We're the bestest mates in the world. I've got a podcast. I've got a wrestling show I'm promoting. I've got you on the podcast. And I already know we're over the hour that I promise you we'll be doing. So
Yeah, all good though, bro. All good.
Yeah.
Well, for any, lucky, single females out there, I am still single. So I'm definitely on the market, like 100%. My mom keeps begging me for grandkids. The issue that I've got right as well, because I'm on the road every single week, up and down the country. And by the way, I don't mind, because my ex-partner, she my ex-girlfriend, she used to come on my gigs, and I've got no issue with that.
I met her, didn't I?
It's yeah, you did, mate. It's a job where it's kind of like, obviously my work comes first in terms of everything. I get paid well for doing it, but obviously I've got it's a responsibility of doing what we do as well, where it's kind of, I've got a camera crew and blah, blah, blah. So every single week, I'm planning on doing this, games for making sure every pop world's going to be enjoyable for everyone coming down and, enjoying the night down there. But it's, I'm just loving life at the minute, mate. Obviously between doing Geordie, which I don't know how long it's going to go on for, might be another 2 seasons, might be 5 more years, but I'll be, as long as the money, I'm happy with the money doing it. It's, it's always going to be a yes. And, in terms of, the Pop World Stonegate stuff, mate, it's, we've got a few things that we're going to be, releasing this year as well, because obviously I'm going to be doing the Pop World TV stuff, but there's a, 1 or 2 other things that we're going to be doing, so.
If you need someone to carry your bags, have you got any booked in? Obviously, I think I missed you. I think you did Southend again, and I wasn't there, was I? They booked you for like a Friday when I couldn't be there. But, do you know if you're going back to?
I've got no idea, bro. So I think we started the tour a little bit too early last year. We started at the end of Jan. But I think people are still, just getting back into sort of getting some money behind that kind of stuff. But I start the 1st of March this year. I think we're doing Pop World Leeds for the first one. But this is why we've slowed things down a little bit, because there's 1 or 2 other little things that we're going to be doing alongside Pop World TV. We've got 1 million episodes there for the past 2 years of doing them, so it's trying to work out what we're going to be doing, how we're going to release them, and when we're going to release them as well. I just don't want to be whacking them out willy-nilly and that kind of stuff, because my socials have been inundated when's Lincoln episode coming out? When's Southampton coming out? When's Liverpool? Mate, I did Liverpool 4 times in 1 year. You know, obviously the Irish contingency of coming over there, mate. It's like, ah! And obviously,
I'm still waiting on Southend 2023, to be honest.
Mate, I was in Liverpool for 7 hours doing Paddy's Day last year, bro. 7 hours. Like, I was absolutely shit-faced, you know what I mean? But, like, I mean, I get along with Simon really, really well, you know, and I mean, I think I'm going out for Paddy's Day again, but I just put a show on and I love doing it as well, you know. I love going all around with the camera crew and partying with everyone, you know. I'm never there for an hour or two. You'll find us there at least 4 hours. You know, most of the venues that I do, I'm there when the lights come on. Do you know what I mean? So
we were there. We were there still talking at the end, and I was like, they were telling me to go pack up. We want to go, and me, you, and the other guy. I think Courtney, one of the other DJs, come joined you in the VIP. So we were talking for ages, and I was like, I should probably go fucking pack up because we were just, like I said, I had a great time.
Yeah.
I didn't even know if me and you were going to cross paths because I know you were doing the TV. I knew you were coming to do with DJ. And I didn't know if they were going to go get out the DJ booth, the celebrities coming in. But I remember because I how it happened is I'm DJing and I'm getting the crowds getting really hyped up, and someone come over and I didn't even know you turned up. I said to one of the managers, "What time's Ricky getting there?" They went, "He's over there filming." I went, "Oh, I've just heard that our main man Ricci G's here, so make sure you go over and see him." And all of a sudden you appeared in front of the DJ booth. Leant over, slapped me on the hand and went, "All right, brother." And then that was it. We were just like, "All right, cool. The night's just going to go like this."
No, it's mad because when I speak to the managers each one, which I know a lot of them quite well now because I've done a lot of the venues probably 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever many times over the past few years. And I always say, "What time do you want us down?" They're like, maybe 11:30, midnight. And I'm always like, "No, I'll be down 10:30. And I'm eager to get down because there's a lot to film and a lot of stuff that we do, which people don't really understand. But, I like to get all the nitty-gritty stuff done at the beginning, the intros, we've got to do an outro at the end. And, there's a lot of conversations where we have a lot of fun, tongue-in-cheek, jokes that we have a lot of them, Would you stay with your boyfriend if you had 100 grand, or would you rather stay with your boyfriend? There's a lot of girls out there that are taking the money as well. But it's just fun, mate. I absolutely love doing it. And, unlike Geordie, I'm the only one there, with a camera crew. Our DJ, obviously... with people like you that I work alongside as well, mate, it's just fucking really enjoyable to do. Obviously I've got an unbelievable boss in terms of Rob, who's, he couldn't have got us in more venues, but I just think it's worked, and even Simon at Liverpool, he's just like, what it is, you're the best talent that we've ever had down, because you put a show on, you play the right music, you entertain people all night, you've got the camera crew there, and it's, you do what you say on the tin, and I think, It's hearing managers like that, and booking us that many times to come back down and that as well, where it's kind of like, it does work, but I enjoy every single minute of, of making this fun for everyone on the night.
But that's your passion. I can sense it, again, similarities in the sense that, what's the best part of doing these sort of things is seeing people enjoying what you do, whether you're a comedian, you're making them laugh. You're a DJ, and you hear them people singing, every single person, and you always get that one Karen standing in front of you going, "This is shit. Nobody likes it." And you just go, turn round and look at the 300 people behind you that are singing. Yeah, there's that. I don't like this. I don't give a fuck about you. I give a fuck about all of them that are singing.
Do you know, I don't get that right. I mean, that's your DJ.
That's me, Carmen.
But I've done a few gigs, but I like to try and bring girls or lads, it doesn't really matter for me, into the sort of DJ booth as well. Because I've got the camera crew with us, whack the headphones on, that kind of stuff. But you see a few of the DJs as well, mate, they're like, no drinks around here. Like, they get really do you know what I mean? Where it's kind of...
Yeah, it's our worst nightmare.
Yeah, it's like...
Worst nightmare.
Yeah.
One of my place I do a Saturday night, we got a perspex. I can't even say it. Perspex.
Yeah, perspex.
And within a week, someone had snapped it, so we had to take it down.
Oh, really?
Instantly, as soon as it came down, like the where the booth is, people just like the wood.
Yeah.
On the edge is about that thin, right? Like literally about that thin. People go and balance their drinks.
Yeah. A
full drink, and you're like, there is 15 grand worth of in here.
Yeah.
You got about, you ain't going to pay for it, Steve from fucking Romford. You're not going to pay for it. We are. And they stand there and go, "Oh, you're being a dickhead." For me, that's not your equipment.
Yeah.
If you knock that drink, everything's going to turn off. And then everybody in here is going to walk out. And my boss is going to hate me, not you. He's going to hate me for letting it happen. So, yeah. passionate. I think we'll fucking kick off about these people. That don't stress me.
Well, I'm a little bit more chilled than all you guys because, you know,
Yeah, it's not your gear. It's not your equipment.
Like, yeah, everyone just have fun. It's all right. Put all the drinks in, all the Jägermeister.
Yeah.
And you know,
You're the ones egging them on to throw their drinks up in the air.
I try to make it when we do these nights and that as well. I'm always, you know, I shouldn't really, you know, give them free Jaeger bombs and stuff. Because I want people to be enjoying the night, experience the whole, you know, being like, you know what it is? That night with Ricky in Pop World was one of the best nights that I've ever had for a long, long time. And it's them experiencing. I think that I've really captured that as well with what we're trying to do. With what Rob told me at the beginning, you know, the past 2 years. I mean, I don't think anyone's done more Pop World venues than me in the past 2 years, mate. I think I've done, you know, near enough, you know, double figures of being, you know, with how many we've done. I mean, I've done a lot of the venues. I mean, like I said, I did Liverpool 4 times in 1 year. It's crazy. But yeah, I'm very fortunate. You know, obviously, it's to have landed on my feet with it. I mean, I'd give up Geordie tomorrow just to be doing Pop World TV for the rest of my life. To be honest with you, mate, it's that's how much I love it. Really, it's. Yeah,
I'll tell the area managers. Like, Ricky wants to work behind the bar as well.
Mate, by the way, I do the bar stuff when we're filming. I make all the cocktails as well, and we do all the Spice Girl shots and that as well. So listen, I feel part of the furniture now with doing it. It's been a hell of a lot of fun, and you know, long may it continue, mate. So
right, so final thing, right? Because we promised a little bit of geek. Before we wrap up,
yeah, go on.
Okay, I'm going to go through some classic films. I want to hear your opinions on them, all right? Because like I said, we grew up for the same era. I'm going to start.
Honest opinion, yeah, brutally good.
Yeah, honest opinion. If you've seen it or what your opinion is, and I'm going to start. This is going to hang on because I'm going to give you my favourite film of all time. It's literally right there on the poster if you can see it. Stand By Me. Do you remember Stand By Me?
No.
4 boys walking along train tracks looking for a dead body. Kiefer Sutherland's in it as a slightly older one.
Hold
River
on.
Phoenix.
I think I have seen this. Does something happen to one of the boys or 2 of the boys?
One of them is it where they go for a river at one point and they get covered in leeches. One gets a leech on his. No. Okay. Right, okay. We'll move on. Okay, I'm up. So Netflix, it's on there. Yeah. Check it out. Best film ever. Right. Next one.
I'll watch that tonight.
Yeah. There you go. And there we go. Get you back on to give a review of Stand By Me. The Goonies.
Loved it, mate. Absolutely loved it. Hey, you guys, mate. Classic. Absolute classic. And I think it's a timeless classic where it's kind of like nothing will be made like it again. And
there's rumours there's a sequel.
I've heard number 2.
Yeah.
Thing is, though, right? Do you not think when it comes to sequels and you know and doing a second one, it's so far away, so long. Like, for example, off the top of my head, Bad Boys. I was obsessed with Bad Boys 1 and 2, but then the third one was absolutely whack. Like, it was whack, bro. It was so bad I walked out in the cinema. I was so gutted about how bad it was. Also, Dumb and Dumber.
Oh, the second one. I'm so upset.
Bro.
Because Jim Carrey doesn't do sequels. He doesn't like sequels. He'd only ever done Ace Ventura 1 and 2, and that's only because they paid him to do Ace Ventura 2. And then he's recently done Sonic. But
they do them too far apart, though. Like, I feel like when you're doing a sequel and you're doing number 2, they have to be closer, mate.
It depends. I think it depends on the quality as well. Have you seen, for example, Beetlejuice, the second one?
No.
I will rave because, again, I'm a big Michael Keaton guy. Beetlejuice is phenomenal. Beetlejuice, I loved it. What about Cobra Kai? The next film I was going to mention was Karate Kid. Do you watch Cobra Kai?
I don't watch Cobra Kai, but my first video cassette when I was a kid was the box set of all the Karate Kids.
Right, I will, honest to God, mate. And
video cassettes, now we're talking narrations.
Proper video cassettes. Yeah. So I promise you, this is a reason to bring you back, right? And because we've talked about it so many times. If you love the Karate Kid films, right? And even if because there's technically 5 films. 1, 2, and 3, which is Daniel. Then there was the next Karate Kid with the girl.
Yeah.
Then there was the Jackie Chan one, which has nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
But maybe. All I'm saying is, go rewatch them films, revisit them, and go watch Cobra Kai.
Yeah, good.
Honest to God, the way they've continued the story, bringing Daniel LaRusso back, bringing Johnny, the guy he fights in the first one, and how they've continued this. I genuinely believe it's one of the best TV shows. Like, again,
love that.
because you hold on to it because the Karate Kid is the Karate Kid.
Yeah.
The fact that it's gone on for 6 seasons and it's about to end, but they're doing a new film where you've got Jackie Chan. So his film is linked with Daniel LaRusso,
Yeah.
the Karate Kid. So they're bringing the two worlds together as well. So that shows how good it is. Honestly, if I give you anything,
You've sold it. You've sold it.
go watch it. It's all on Netflix. Go watch the Karate Kid continuation, mate, and you'll message me going, right, what is this show? Why is this so good? Like, it's phenomenal. It's one of them sequels. Again, like you say, some things should not be touched.
Yeah.
I'm concerned about the Goonies, but I'll give it a chance. When they brought Michael Keaton back as Batman last year, yes, the Flash film had a lot of problems, but the best part of it was him,
Yeah.
was Michael Keaton. Kept bringing it back. So certain things, as long as they do it right, we remember when they did 25 sequels to Nightmare on Elm Street. You got stupid.
What's the latest Batman?
The most recent Batman movie was the Robert Pattinson one, The Batman. Not a fan?
Nah, absolutely awful, in my opinion. Like,
So I loved it. I loved it, and I was one of those, oh my God, it's him from Twilight. But then I realised I actually thought he was probably the best part of them Twilight
Really?
films, to be fair.
yeah,
I like the
It
books.
wasn't-
I actually like the
wasn't for
books.
me.
But I wasn't a big fan of the films.
I think Van Kilmer was sort of my sort of, Batman sort of.
Yeah, because again, that's who we grew up with.
Yeah.
That era.
I think
But,
it's like the change with the James Bonds, or really. Oh, I know obviously the change, and not everyone's good. Like Pierce Brosnan was sort of my sort of, the golden eye thing with thingy, but yeah. Everything changed. Different opinions.
We all have our different. Every era gets their Batman. Every era gets their James Bond, Superman. There's a new Superman coming out this year.
Yeah.
That I cannot wait for. But they're doing a lot of these legacy sequels. But I think finally these studios have realised if we're gonna do it, we've got to do it right. We can't just do it for the sake of it. Like Ghostbusters that have brought back. Again, I'm a massive Ghostbuster. I mean, I'm literally wearing a jumper from the Firehouse. Ghostbusters, when they brought it back, it was like, oh God, they're bringing kids into it. This could be. I mean, they tried it with the girl version,
Yeah.
which I always say it wasn't the girls that problem. The story was horrendous.
Yeah.
When they brought the original Ghostbusters, they continued it. Mate, I was sold. It was
Yeah.
brilliant. So if they do it right, I'm all in for it.
Yeah.
Okay, 2 more films to ask because these ones you're going to view. Back to the Future, the whole trilogy.
Loved it, mate. Absolutely loved it.
Which is your favourite one? Number 1's the
Yeah,
50s, 2's the future,
Yeah.
3's the cowboy.
Yeah, man, I think I always, mate, I'm a majority like number ones in films. Number ones.
So I grew up with a lot of sequels to films on VHS. Like my mum couldn't afford the originals. I used to get the sequels. Like instead of Nightmare on Elm Street 1, I had Nightmare on Elm Street 22 because it was £2. Not as expensive as the original.
Once again, though, like them sort of films, Back to the Future, mate, they're just timeless classics. Like they, you know what I mean? It's kind of like they were the eras of, like, when cassettes was coming to an end. But I remember when I was watching them, the Karate Kid and all that kind of stuff. It was kind of, yeah, mate. And they're all different in their own lanes in that as well. Do you know what I mean? With everything, just unbelievable.
Right, last film then, and last and we will wrap this up. This started as a TV show, but it did become a blockbuster. I've shown you stuff in the background. Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, the movie.
Yeah.
Where they changed the suits, where it was Ivan Ooze, if you remember the movie, the big purple bad guy. What was you? Was you a big Ranger fan then? And like, I had to go see this film when it came out.
No. I loved it when I was a kid. Like, I absolutely loved it when I was a kid. But, for example, as well, Transformers, by the way, was my favourite ever thing growing up. And I mean, ever. Like, I used to watch the cartoon and the movie. I still get goosebumps now because I even post about it sometimes being this is the best when Optimus Prime is having a fight with Megatron. And in the cartoon movie, I'm getting giddy. It's and I still post the YouTube video. I think it's about 4 minutes long. The best scene ever of any film ever. It's a cartoon, mate. And I just think when you put the music on as well, and it's kind of like one will stand, one will fall. Oh, I'm getting.
And the one that falls is the one you don't expect to fall.
Unbelievable.
Like Megatron, like in that film, Megatron becomes Galvatron, voiced by not only anybody but Spock. Leonard Nimoy takes over as Galvatron. Hot Rod is introduced.
Hot Rod!
Hot Rod, mate. Rodimus Prime. Like, again, on this podcast, it's one of the common things. One of them things. Them Transformers movies, the Michael Bay movies. I did love them, but the one every year when they brought number one out, two, three, all I kept looking for when there was pictures of what was going on the sets, I kept looking for Hot Rod. I'm like, come on, give me Hot Rod.
Right.
And they brought him in number 4, and they made him French.
So, being an absolute freak when it came to, like, you know, obsessed freak, when it, in better words, of being with Transformers when I was a kid, I used to watch them all the time. You know, the dinosaur, like obviously, yeah, the Dinobots and all that kind of. I was obsessed with them, mate. And when I watched the movies, I wanted it to relate to, you know, Galvatron and this man-eating moon that would just eat planets. And, you know, I think they've started getting the storylines more correct now in terms of, like, what they're sort of putting out. I mean, I love the first one, by the way, when it came out with Megan Fox and stuff, by the way.
Oh, mate.
Unbelievable. The heartbreaker right there.
I mean, that film was amazing, but they could have just shown me her riding on the back of a really bad Bumblebee cosplay, and I would have been happy.
You know what it is? I mean, Mum and Dad are very similar to, obviously, the parents from that. And my Mum and Dad watched it, and they were crying, laughing. I remember my dad was like...
The mum, that she's brilliant, but in the second one, when she eats the brownies, the wee brownies, and she just rugby tackles that guy. Oh my God, they were, and the agent guy in them films.
Yeah, it's so good, mate.
Sector 7. Yeah, them first 2 were amazing. Number 3 was all right, but they removed Megan Fox, brought in the other girl. It weren't. It started going, like I said. But number 4, when they brought Hot Rod in, and he turned up, and he was not only a butler for Anthony Hopkins' character, but he went, "Hello, I am Hot Rod," and he had a French accent. I was like, I've waited for years for this.
For me, right, I don't like changing lead cast members. I feel like, and this might be very similar to reality TV as well, because I feel like you get
invested in
you
them.
get invested in them. It's like this is for the OGs and that kind of stuff. That's why, you know, we've all had to come back and save the day for because Geordie Shore was on its arse. You know, we've all gone back. The numbers are blown up again. But I feel like, for me as well with Transformers, you know, Shia LaBeouf, like, mate, what? I love him as an actor, not just on Transformers, but, you know, what was that film that he did with that kid had Down syndrome?
I know what you mean.
Mate, one of the best films I've ever watched. Like,
he's a phenomenal actor. He's such a method actor as well. Like, there was them rumours, weren't there, a couple of years ago, that he'd lost his mind, he'd gone mental and all that, because it was all for the role.
Apparently, what was the actor called? That apparently he was filming with them, and he kept ringing them or emailing them or messaging them or something and saying, you're not being professional. You basically turn up and you do what you're meant to do. Anyway, I can't remember what actor it was. It was some older guy, wasn't it? It was some really big actor as well. He was basically playing his shit. But man, I just think, you know, characters like that, I think, you know, yeah, just they make the make the movies, and I feel like, you know, watching the first one, mate, he's so funny. Like, he makes the film, and I feel like, you know, when it changed to what you call the other guy,
Mark Wahlberg.
There was nothing.
So I didn't mind him. Like I said, for me, like, when they brought in the Dinobots that looked like there was enough of, like, the Transformers did look different to what we grew up with. It was like, but they look cool. When the Dinobots come in, it was like, it was too far. Grimlock doesn't sound like Grimlock. Me, Grimlock. But that was the voice. That was the voice you wanted to hear.
Yeah.
It went too far. And like I said, it killed it. As soon as Hot Rod was French, I was like, I've been waiting 4 films for this character, and you've made him a French.
Things like that as well. They need to keep it what people grew up with, and them childhood memories of, you know, we're as fans wanting to go to the cinema, eat your popcorn, have your burger, and watch it and be like, that just, you know, I'm reliving my childhood memories once again, you know, and that's what we want as fans, you know, watching them. And I feel like
it with Power Rangers.
Fucking snazzy with, or changing things, where it's kind of like, put French in, it's kind of like this new sort of, like, you know, world that we're living in, where it's kind of like, well, they're trying to please everyone.
In Power Rangers, in the 2017 movie, I really enjoyed it. Like, it was different, the suits looked different, but, like, what you know, what they did was they're trying to please a newer audience while forgetting that the ones that came through originally, there are certain things, if you're going to do it right, you've got to make the suits not exactly the same because it is 30 years later, but make them look, don't change. They look more like, it was true, they look more like Iron Man suits than they did Power Rangers.
You want it to be as
Please everybody.
relatable to, you know, what we grew up, you know, that sort of 30 years ago, them visions that we've got in our head of watching them, you know, on cassettes or, you know, whatever as a kid, and watching all the cartoons and stuff. When you see it change too much, you're just like, you know, it breaks your heart.
Have you seen the new Transformers movie, the animated one, Transformers 1 that came out a few months? I've still not seen it.
No, I've not seen it yet, no.
It's like a prequel, so it's when they're on Cybertron. It's how Megatron becomes Megatron, how Optimus becomes Optimus. It's meant to be really good. I need to see it. I think it's on streaming now. Like, I think you can buy it on TV and that, but it's meant to be really good. So again, go watch Cobra Kai. Yeah. I'll give you a couple of months before you come back on, and we'll really catch up on you. Ricky, honestly, we're going to have to start wrapping up because I'm sure you're probably thinking, you know, this is getting to you. I've got to go pick the kids up in a bit. Mate, hope you've enjoyed it. I've loved every second of this. This is exactly what I want it to be. It's just two mates chatting, shooting the shit, and coming up with some stuff. And hopefully people have learned stuff about you that they never knew. I mean, hopefully you might start getting sent some Transformers toys now.
Yeah, hopefully, you know.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Who's your favourite Transformer, by the way? Hot Rod.
It will be Optimus because Optimus is Optimus.
Yeah.
But then it's Hot Rod because I loved how cool that car when he had the flames was cool. But I also love Jazz.
Right. Okay.
I love Jazz. What about you?
Yeah, mate. Optimus. To be fair, mate, I was, seeing that scene of him and Megatron fighting.
Yeah.
There's no scene in any film ever in this entire world that'll beat that cartoon scene ever in my whole entire life. I've got so good memories, you know. I used to ask my cousin to put it on all the time when I was a kid, you know. And
it's when you see the colour drain, the colour goes through him as well. You're like, oh no.
Yeah.
Can't take it.
Yeah. When he gets that thing shot through his side, you know, and he carries, oh mate, the whole thing, man. I'm gonna go watch it now.
You text me later going, I ain't left the TV. I've watched all this stuff you're talking about. I'm on season 2 of Cobra Kai. This is really good.
Yeah.
But listen, if I've sparked that off in you, if I can bring out more of a geek in Ricci G, then I'll happily do it. And I've already come up with the idea. See, we always try and come up with a name for the episode. Yeah. This episode is definitely going to be called something along the lines of "There's more than meets the eye to Ricci G."
Yeah. Oh, there we go.
Yeah, I thought of it. Got it. Ricky, listen, people are going to be watching this. I hope to God they don't already need to know this, but we always go through it. Please tell us where they can find you on your socials.
Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, all Ricci G, Ricci, and then good luck spelling the surname. But it should come up with the blue tick, you know, all that kind of stuff.
Guarnaccio, I'll give you. Yeah, I'm just saying.
Go on, mate. Say it again.
Guarnaccio.
There you go.
I've got it spelled out on a bit of paper over it out as well. How you broke it down. I've got it here so I remembered, just so I didn't mess it up when I was saying it. We, of course, are at Talk Dork Podcast on all your social medias. Give us a follow, give us a like, subscribe, do what you got to do. Ricky, again, mate, hopefully we'll do this again down the line. Thank you so much for joining us. Mate.
Thanks again, Ryan.
See you, Sam.
See you all soon.
See you later.
I mean, I'm surprised it's still going because we've all left at different stages, you know, especially all the